Well, we have been waiting for what feels like forever for more Warlock cards, and wow, are they delivering on these Warlock cards. Let's get into these cards that were revealed today by Feelink and Brian Kibler on their YouTubes. I'll have theirs linked below here. But the first card that is kind of like not one card, it's like 8 cards, is Symphony of Sins. And this legendary spell, the entrance animation's amazing. But it's 6 mana, it's legendary, so you only have 1 in your deck. But discover and play a movement. Shuffle the other 6 into your deck. So, what is a movement? What are these, and why are there 7 of them? Okay, so let's take a look at these. We have Movement of Envy. These are all 3 mana spells. Movement of Envy. Remove the top 6 cards from your opponent's deck. Then we have Movement of Pride. Draw your highest cost minion. Reduce its cost by 6. Movement of Wrath. Deal 6 damage to all characters. That would be your face included. Movement of Desire. Lifesteal. Deal 6 damage to the enemy hero. Movement of Gluttony. Give a random minion in your hand, deck, and battlefield +6/+6. Movement of Greed. Draw 6 cards. And then Movement of Sloth. Summon a 6/6 demon with Taunt and Reborn. Okay, there's a lot going on with this card. Oh my gosh. So you discover, which is only going to give you 3 options. So you're not going to see all 7 options. You're only going to get 3 of the 7 to do an initial discover from. But when you discover, then that 1 will go into your hand because that's what you picked. And then the other 6 get shuffled into the deck. Again, they all cost 3, so you will have to pay the 6 for this Symphony of Sins. And then to get each of those effects, you have to pay the 3 mana for those spells. But these are really powerful effects. I mean, these seem really impactful. There's a lot going on with these. The thing that I love about this is that it's very flexible. And even with a Discover, even if you maybe don't hit the one that you really want, you'll still very likely be able to get some value out of one of the options, at least, that you do have from that Discover. But there's a lot of powerful stuff here, and it's so flexible that you should be able to find something that you can get value from, right? So it's really cool. I really like this card. Is this going to be its own win condition? No, probably not. I don't think you can just build a deck and then be like, this is how I'm going to win the game. You're going to have something else, but these are huge, huge supports, potential. I mean, getting out a 6/6 or paying 3 and drawing 6 cards, whew, you're probably going to draw at least 1 more of your other movements if you go for that Movement of Greed. There's just so much going on with this. There's a couple of cards that this kind of reminds me of. One is the Horseman, the neutral Horseman card that we have currently in Standard that puts the other Horseman in your deck. You want to draw those. It is a little bit slow. It kind of is conditional. Also very reminiscent of like Mecha'thun in the past, right? Where you had the Mecha'thun pieces that all get put into your deck and then you have to play them all to get the big thing at the end. This isn't quite as like needing all of the pieces, right? These pieces are all pretty good on their own. You don't have to play all of them. You can just get kind of the ones that you want, at least at the beginning, right? You get one that you want, and then you can kind of play them as needed, which I think is great. It's not requiring that you have to play all of them or draw all of them or anything like that. And I think that's one kind of powerful thing about this card is just how versatile and flexible it is. Really curious to see how people end up using this, what kind of decks it gets put into, and how useful some of these be. Because again, it does feel slightly slow. These pieces, again, on their own feel valuable enough that I think you still may want to play this. And then the next cards that we have here all kind of have a similar package to them, and it's focused on fatigue, which is really interesting. It's actually focused on you as the warlock taking fatigue damage to get benefits. So pretty interesting. Let's take a look at the minions here first. We have Crazed Conductor, a 5 mana 4/5, battle cry, take fatigue damage. Summon that many 3/3 imps. Even if you just get one, then you're putting out a 4/5 and a 3/3. Seems okay for 5 mana and 1 fatigue damage. Seems okay, I guess, at best. I'm not super thrilled on this one, but I guess if you wanted to do the whole fatigue package, you might run it. The next one is Baritone Imp, and it's a 2 mana 2/2 demon. Battlecry, take fatigue damage, gain that much attack and health. Now this one I actually really like. I think even starting at just 1, you would basically be paying 2 mana and 1 damage, and you'd get a 3/3 demon. That seems pretty decent. People are playing Flame Imp that deals damage to you when you play it as a 3/2. So this honestly seems pretty good. I think I would play this even without the rest of the fatigue package. Now let's look at the next one, Crescendo. It's a 3 mana Fel spell. Take fatigue damage, deal that much damage to all enemies. Now, the fact that this says all enemies does mean it hits their face as well, which is pretty impactful, but also it's not being like split up between the enemies. So it's not shooting, and potentially not clearing everything. If you've taken 3 fatigue damage, it's going to deal 3 damage to each of their minions and 3 damage to their face. That seems really good, especially because if you are playing the other cards, or if you have a deck built to draw through your deck really quickly and get to fatigue, this card will just get exponentially stronger and stronger. But because of the other cards that also allow you to take fatigue damage, like the Imp and the Conductor, you can build this up on your own before you get to that drawing through your whole deck. So this one seems pretty cool too. I like this one a lot. And then the last one is Felstring Harp. This is the instrument weapon for Warlock. It is a 2 mana, 0 attack, 3 durability. Whenever your hero would take damage on your turn, restore 2 health instead. Lose 1 durability. This is a similar feel to how the questline reward felt, except for it's healing you instead of dealing damage to your opponent. But the thing that I kind of like about this is it's just whenever your hero would take damage. So if you've played this after you've played multiple fatigue things, you could prevent 4 or 5 damage, let's say, to yourself and restore 2 health instead. So instead of taking 4, you'd be healing for 2. And the fact that it's just whenever your hero would take damage, it doesn't matter what amount of damage, that seems huge to me. I'm not really sure if this whole fatigue package will be a very high level competitive deck. Maybe it is, but it also does seem a little risky, right? You're taking that fatigue damage, you're using fatigue and taking damage to try to get this benefit. Now, if your opponent has answers for all these things, or you don't really actually get to stick these minions and things on board, you don't get a huge payoff for it, and your opponent kind of can clear and then just attack you or kill you from hand, then it doesn't seem like it's doing much. And I think that's kind of the big drawback is, like I've mentioned with some other things, I don't know if this package, even though it seems appealing, is enough. What is the payoff? Will these things be actually good enough? And my initial feeling here is that they won't. But again, the fact that Crescendo goes face feels pretty huge. And if there's any sort of synergy with playing Fel spells or repeating Fel spells or anything like that, that you can potentially use this or have some sort of payoff like you did with the quest line, then I think these will be very powerful. But currently, I don't think that the fatigue package as a whole is going to be all that impressive. I don't know. How are you feeling about Warlock? Let me know in the comments below. And tomorrow we will be getting the final reveal stream. There's going to be a ton of cards revealed. I believe 22 cards are what we will need, something around there. So definitely a lot of cards going to be revealed tomorrow. And then after that, I will be starting up my Theorycraft videos. So I'll be doing a video for each class with some theory crafting decks. You can also enter to have your theory-crafted decks featured on one of those videos as well, and add a chance for a Tavern Pass reward track. So get that Google form in the description. Click into this video next to see the cards that I previously reviewed, and I'll see you in the next one.